Hi, my name's Lisa. Welcome to How Tuesday at Lori's Country Cottage. Today I'm going to show you 3 different ways to hang your design wall. How you hang your design wall will depend on your sewing space and where you want to hang it. Some people have the luxury of having a nice big wall in their sewing space where they can leave a design wall up. And so you don't need to make anything temporary. In my sewing space, my design wall needs to be temporary. So I would use the system that you see hanging here today. I'm going to show you how to put loops with grommets and a sleeve on the top of your design wall so that it's removable. And you can plan those loops for wherever it fits in your sewing space. If you don't want to put the loops with the grommets on, you can see my dowel that I have through my sleeve extends past both sides. So you could either put hooks or nails in your wall and just hang the dowel on that. And I'm going to show you how just to put grommets all the way across if you want to simply hang them by grommets. All right, let's head to my sewing room and I'll show you how it's done. Here are the supplies you'll need for your Gypsy Quilter design wall sleeve. You'll need 2 12-inch pieces of 1.5-inch webbing, a long tape measure, 2 6-inch cuts of whatever fabric you'd like to use for your sleeve. And I use the Vario Creative tool to punch the holes and put my eyelets in. Let's get started. Measure the design wall on all 4 sides. Take the average, and that will be the number you use to cut your sleeve. Take your 2 6-inch pieces of fabric and join them on a short end so that it is long. Now cut your long length of sleeve fabric to the average length of your 4 sides plus an inch. For me, that was 72 inches. Hem your short ends by turning to the wrong side a 1/4 inch and pressing. Fold over another 1/4 inch and press it down. Stitch the hem down. Fold both of your long edges in a 1/2 inch and press. On the top of your design wall, measure down 2.5 inches on both sides and mark. Don't use a friction pen. Take your 2 12-inch pieces of webbing and fold both of them in half so that they're 1.5 inches by 6 inches. Using the Vario Creative tool or something similar, punch a hole in each of the hangers near the folded edge, about a 1/2 inch down. Attach the eyelets. Here they are. On the back of the design wall, place the webbing with the raw edges facing toward the top of the design wall and 2 inches down from each edge, with a 1/4 inch extending beyond the drawn line. Pin in place. On the front of the design wall, open your sleeve and line up the fold with the drawn line. Pin in place. Stitch on that fold line. This will catch the webbing on the back. Fold the sleeve up and over the top edge, lining the second fold up on the drawn line, and pin. Fold the webbing hangers up so that they extend beyond the top edge. They'll be stitched down in the next step. From the front, stitch a 1/4 inch from the fold to catch the sleeve on the back and the webbing hangers. Pin the webbing in place and stitch an 1/8 inch from the top fold. This creates the sleeve and stitches the webbing in place. Backstitch over the webbing. If you prefer a permanent design wall with eyelets, here's how it's done. Measure in 1 inch from the top and each side and make a mark. Measure toward the center 10 inches from each 1 inch mark. Make a mark there. And continue measuring toward the center in 10-inch increments to space out your eyelets. You may need to slightly adjust your last 2 measurements. Using your Vario Creative tool or something similar, punch holes for the eyelets at each marking. Install your eyelets. You may want or need to make a small sleeve on the bottom of the design wall for a metal rod with some weight in it so that the design wall will hang straight. Here's what the eyelets look like on the design wall. Let's talk a bit about the design wall from the Gypsy Quilter. A design wall, of course, allows you to lay out your blocks and showcase them in different configurations, maybe to decide how you want your quilt to work. I just love laying out a quilt and watching it grow and develop on my design wall as I'm doing a project. Now, you can use flannel to make a design wall, but the cost of the flannel will be very comparable to purchasing this design wall, and I can guarantee you that the blocks adhere way better to this design wall than they do to flannel. It's important when you're hanging your design wall to put it as close to the wall as possible so that it doesn't flop or move as you're putting blocks on. And I wanted to show how well this adheres. This is a complete block with foundation on the back, and it's been hanging here for over an hour. Well, there are some different methods for hanging your design wall, whether you put tabs with grommets, add a sleeve and a dowel, or simply just use grommets along the top of your design wall. I hope you have learned something, and I thank you for joining me for How To'sDay at Lori's Country Cottage.